Have you ever felt so connected to a song that every time you listen to it, you are moved to tears? Well, I have. And there are many examples to date. And I'm not talking only about the lyrics, but the melodies and harmonies too. However, since this is a podcast episode about writing better lyrics, I'm gonna focus on that. But firstly, hi, I'm Raven, a musician and artist from Brazil, and this is Ravens of a Raven, a podcast about creativity, music, and art in general. In this episode 11, I'm gonna talk about lyric writing and how to get better at it, being vulnerable and analyzing the greats. Just a shout out, if you're interested in my music, I'll be releasing the first single of my next EP this month. The single is called Gaslighter, and it has everything to do with this episode, since I've been using these tips to help me write the lyrics to the songs on this EP. And this one is one of my favorite lyrics out of those. Anyway, be sure to check it out. The link is in the description. So the examples of lyrics that I'm gonna show to you here are from Ben Folds and Something Corporate. I'm not particularly a fan of any of those artists, meaning I don't follow them and what they're doing or their songs or whatever they're releasing. Not that I don't like their music or anything like that. I was just not aware of their music before I stumbled onto those songs. So the first one is Wondering by Ben Folds. I came across that song in a newsletter about songwriting years ago. So the teacher was talking about how that song specifically would evoke specific feelings and how well the lyrics were crafted. He was giving the example so that we could also do the same to ours. But when he showed some of the lyrics, I instantly wanted to listen to the song. The lyrics themselves resonated so much with me that I just needed to listen to that song. And so I did, hoping that it wouldn't be one of those cases that the lyrics are incredible, but the song is just meh. But I couldn't be more wrong, and I'm so grateful for that. Wondering is a beautiful song from beginning to end, and the lyrics are about heartbreak and letting go. So all of us have been there and done that, right? He is so specific about his lyrics in this song, but what kills me is the last verse. I'll read it to you, and just by talking about it, even before I read these, I'm already getting emotional. Anyway, here it is. Remember sitting on your car that night. Clouds rolled out, unveiling lights around the bay. And you told me all those things. Remember that. You told me you can't match your clothes. Remember that. I confessed how when I laugh sometimes I'm crying, and we sat and didn't talk for half an hour. Remember that, alone, 'cause I won't remember anymore. That last sentence, it's brutal and it's honest and it's heartbreaking, and it makes such an impact because of the lyrics right before that. It's a punchline, and one hell of a punchline. What a great song. Please go listen to it if you haven't yet. It's worth it. So the second one is Constantine by Something Corporate, and it's another beautiful, but this time 9.5 minute song. Yeah, you heard it right. That's how good its lyrics are, because I don't listen to Something Corporate or had I ever heard from them before someone posted about it on a LiveJournal group I was in. Yeah, remember LiveJournal? That group was all about sharing songs about a certain theme in a certain week, and everyone would pitch in. And how I miss those days. I've discovered so many great songs and good music through that group. Anyway, I don't remember the exact theme that was going on that week, but someone posted Constantine there, really selling the song beautifully, because I remember I instantly clicked on it to listen to it. The person had already summed the lyrics up, and said it was supposed to be about the singer's ex-girlfriend. So it's a really personal and moving song about heartbreak and longing. I've just read that the song originally would be like 4 or 5 minutes, but when they played it for the first time live, his ex-girlfriend, the one that he was singing about, was right there in the audience. So he ended up singing everything he had written before instead of just the chosen parts that they had rehearsed before. So if you listen to the first recording of the song, it's even more emotional than the one which was re-recorded and released in later years. In any case, it's a heartbreaking love story that you feel like you want to hear until the very end. And it captures everything the singer wanted to express about that specific relationship, which happened when he was still in high school. So it's all there. The naivety, the confusion, the longing, the intensity, the sadness, all of that. I mean, it's a beautiful song and a favorite among their fans, and rightfully so. So one of the many verses that I mostly enjoy is this. This is because I can spell confusion with a K and I can like it. It's to die in another's arms and why I had to try it. It's to Jimmy Eat World and those nights in my car when the first star you see may not be a star. I'm not your star. Isn't that what you said, what you thought this song meant? I love this song so much, man. It's a dead-on confession directly to the person he's referring to, much like a love letter, and it's one of my all-time favorites ever, and I never get tired of it, specifically because of the lyrics, since the music ends up serving a lot like a basis for the lyrics to shine, and it works so well. And once again, if you haven't listened to it yet, I promise it's worth all of these 9.5 minutes. So as you can see, emotional resonance in songwriting is essentially the ability of a song to evoke a strong emotional response in the listener. It's about creating a connection that goes beyond just hearing the music and instead feeling it. So its core concept is evoking emotion. So it's when a song successfully triggers feelings in the listener, whether it's joy, sadness, nostalgia, or any other emotion. While the lyrics play a significant role, emotional resonance is when a combination of elements come together in a song. For example, it means that the rise and fall of the melody convey different emotions, and the tempo and groove of the rhythm will influence how you feel as you're listening to that song, as long as the chords and harmony used will create a sense of tension and release without you even noticing it. All that, coupled with the vocal delivery of the singer and artist, using tone and emotion to move you through the story of the lyrics, as well as the overall production, the overall sound and arrangement of said song. But why would we want this emotional resonance in the first place? And what do you think makes a song truly touch our hearts? Well, the short answer is to connect with the listeners. And I dare say vulnerability here is the key. By creating songs that resonate emotionally, we can deepen the connection to the listeners, making them feel understood and validated in their own emotions. Also, when songwriters express genuine emotions through their lyrics and music, they create a sense of authenticity that resonates with listeners. People connect with vulnerability and honesty. Speaking through the listener's point of view, emotional resonance can transform a passive listening experience into an active and engaging one. They become emotionally invested in a song and tend to pay more attention to your music and you as an artist that has a voice. By doing that, your songs that evoke strong emotions will likely be remembered and cherished by the listeners as they become part of their personal soundtracks, just like Wandering and Constantine became part of mine. Summing it up, emotional resonance is the heart of effective songwriting. It's what transforms a song into a meaningful and impactful experience. So I've decided to bring this topic to the podcast because that's what I'm always trying to achieve, but not always achieving it. And it's a little bit frustrating, and yet when I go deep into the song analysis and lyric writing, I always have the greatest of times because it makes me more creative. It sparks something inside me, like I've said a few times here on this podcast. And doing things that we don't really think we know how to do is challenging, but also exciting if you're in the right mood, of course. And learning how to write just the right stuff to make it more vulnerable and emotional is always a nice goal to have. The few times I got to do it, I immediately saw the difference. Like, people will come to me and say how they were moved by the song, or how they would sing along in a shower because the melody was stuck in their heads in a nice way, or how they connected intensely with specific parts of the lyrics. All these moments were amazing, and I'll cherish them forever. It makes me feel that I'm doing something right, even though it doesn't happen every time. So, as I'm constantly studying this, one thing that is common for me to run into is the importance of identifying your target audience so you can relate to their emotions and experiences. So as for me specifically, I just stop and think of a random character that I'd wish would enjoy my songs and listening to them so much as to become a true fan. I think it's easier like that. Anyone can do this experience anyway. So if you're in doubt, please create your perfect fan right now. Just do it. Just do it. It's easy and it's free. So next, as I've already mentioned before, it's good to analyze songs that make you feel a deep connection to the singer or the musician in question. For example, another song that never ceases to touch me is Hey Jupiter by Tori Amos. Those lyrics really resonate with me, even though the first time they had resonated so intensely with me was because of something specifically that just happened in my life. But this was like forever ago, and I mean it. And I'm still, every time that I listen to that song, I get emotional because I remember that specific thing and person specifically. It doesn't go away. Even though it's been 25 years, a lot of years. So even though this is over and gone in my life, the song still touches me. I still have a strong connection to that song that makes me feel really sad, because it is a sad song and it conveys sadness and heartbreak and a little bit of frustration and disappointment. So this is one example. I would maybe stop and analyze that song if I wanted to write about those aspects, you know. So choose one that has that impact on you, just like Hey Jupiter has this strong impact in my life still. And this is another fun way of learning. So make a playlist of your favorite songs that you connect to the most. Like, choose one so you can start, but then you make a playlist and you keep putting songs there that get you emotional and that make you really touched. And then afterwards, analyze each one of them and ask yourself, what makes you connect so intensely to that song? Is it the lyrics? Is it the music? Is it the rhythm? Is it the way the singer is singing? The melodies? Start writing everything down so you can use it later when you're writing your own songs. And lastly, if you already have your character that I asked you to create right now, because I'm into characters. If you've been listening to this podcast, you already know that. You already know my film background, my screenwriting background, so I love creating characters. And this is maybe your first time creating one, but I promise that it's really fun. And if you already have your character and your perfect fan already in mind, now think about their emotional landscape. What do they like? What don't they like? What do they despise? What do they love? What experiences might be normal for them and what experiences might not be usual for them? Build your character and give them life. Make them a real person in your mind. And as soon as you do, you'll be able to understand how to craft lyrics and melodies that resonate deeply with them. But I dare say, try to marry that with what you really want to say. Like you, the artist, with who you really are, not just a made-up persona. Because people feel that. Even though they can enjoy songs written by personas, it's way more powerful when it's the real thing. So the goal here is to balance both. So okay, when you're done analyzing songs and characters, the next phase is to craft your lyrics. And for that, it's important to emphasize the use of evocative imagery and vivid language to point emotional pictures in the listener's minds. For example, refrain from using too many abstract words and please focus on using more concrete words that naturally call for an image in your mind. And I say that once again after being so frustrated with writing scripts because everything was too literary. And I think when you're writing lyrics, maybe you should think like a script writer, like a screenwriter, because it's kind of a small movie. So if you think of your song like a small movie, like a really short, the shortest of the short, I mean, there are short movies that are less than 5 minutes. So if you have a song that is 5 minutes, if it is a 5-minute song that you want to write, well, you can make a really tiny short movie out of it. Some people do in their video clips. And for that, using more concrete words help you a lot. Help you put the person inside the scene, you know? So, for example, instead of using the simple phrase, "You make me feel bad," try to convey that feeling, but in a more descriptive, imaginative way. Like, "The moment you moved your hand away from mine, my heart was silenced." In this phrase, I practically said the same thing, but now with way more and specific details that pull you into a heartbreaking scene. "You made me feel bad" is too generic for that. Everyone feels bad in their lives one day or another. But why do they feel bad? That's the question to ask yourselves. What exactly did that person do to you that made you feel bad? You can always use metaphors, similes, and personification to enhance the emotional impact of your lyrics. Although you don't need to get too personal if you don't want to. Be aware that the more personal and vulnerable you get, the more chances you have to connect with your listeners. That happens because relatable storytelling and personal experiences create a strong emotional connection between people. Firstly, because vulnerability builds trust. Research professor and author Dr. Brené Brown argues that vulnerability is at the very root of social connection, saying that, quote, "In order for connection to happen, we have to allow ourselves to be seen, really seen," unquote. So yeah, I know it's scary. I think so too, but I think it's worth it. And remember what David Lynch once said, I'm paraphrasing him here, "You don't need to be sad to write a sad song. You just need to know the feeling of sadness to convey it." So that's a motto I bring with me since the first time I heard him saying that. And this is really important. And if you're wondering about if your experiences will be too personal and specific for anyone to connect to, I hear you. I'm with you. I always feel like that. But I think that David Lynch's words can also be applied here. Even though they're specific and unique to you, everyone knows the feelings of hurt, loss, love, hope, fear, etc. They won't be connecting to your story specifically, but to the overall feelings that you're conveying and that they're connecting to. They will relate to you, even though they hadn't been through the exact thing you have, because relatable stories make listeners feel understood. They find solace in knowing they're not alone in their feelings. This creates a powerful sense of empathy. But all I've been talking about till here is just between you, the artist, and the individual listener. Beyond that, there's even more incredible goals to achieve. For example, we can create a shared emotional space where listeners can connect with each other along with the artist through those songs and stories. And this eventually will bring you more fans of your work and of you as an artist. And they will eventually want to follow what you're doing, what's happening. So why don't you start writing down some topics that you might want to write about and start to choose some of them for your next lyrics. Don't think about the listener matter at this stage, only in what you're trying to express, what you're trying to say. The focus is you now. The artist is you. I myself now like to start by writing everything down that comes to my mind all at once. Then I take a couple of days off from writing those lyrics. I don't look at them. I just go do something else. And then I come back to read them days later, and I go through them and I save the parts that I find interesting and that I want to use, and I just throw away the rest. Then I start to work on the lyrics that I chose out of those that I first wrote, and I start to work on them like I've just mentioned here in this episode. So how about you? Tell me all about your process of lyric writing in the comments below, please. I'm really interested to know. I'm always all about the creative processes, and I really enjoy hearing other people's processes too, and I will reply to every one of your comments, so I thank you in advance. And once again, thank you for listening to this episode of the Ravens of a Raven podcast. Thank you for staying until the end. I appreciate each and every one of you, and just reminding you to leave a like if you enjoyed this conversation and the tips that I gave you in this episode. I hope that you have a great time writing your next lyrics, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to listen to the next episodes in this podcast, as well as enjoy the other videos I'm posting every week. And if you want to listen to this episode while reading in transcription, I invite you to join my Substack newsletter. The link is in the description. You get the transcriptions of future episodes starting from this one, as well as news about me and my work, writings, snippets of new songs, my drawings, paintings, and or anything that I feel like sharing with the ones who subscribe to the newsletter. So anyway, thank you once again, and I see you in the next video.